Here we have the BX25 from Kubota using the Enorossi Sickle bar mower to mow the side of the road. We're basically mowing the edge of the road where it doesn't normally get treaded on, and some of the what do you want to say, the sides to go up, because we'll get little trees and whatever coming up, and then they'll start encroaching into the road. Here's where it shines, is when you get to the edge, it can move over the edge depending on how brave you are to get as close to the edge as you think you can. I'm not that brave. I have gotten pretty close to the edge before, and if that edge slides, and it has done that before, you almost go over the edge, or you could go over the edge, and I'm not willing to take that risk. But it can go over and catch those little trees that are over there. Brush, trees. At least get the edge cleared up so that they don't come into the road. The problem being is sometimes you get into the dirt and that just dulls the blades somewhat. So it's when it's really grassy and you can't see the edge or the dirt, you sometimes get into it and don't even realize it until the little stuff is down and you go, ah, I'm in the dirt and the rocks. And it's not good for the blades. Right there, see? Didn't realize until I get into it. Because I have to look at where the Kubota's going and where that sickle bar is. So looking back and looking forward, can't do that at the same time. Now we have about 7 miles of road to go. So 7 miles of road takes about 12 hours to mow, because I do both sides of the road. Sometimes it ends up being twice, because I'll mow right next to the road, which is mostly grass, and then come back and mow through again where it is higher stuff, trees and brush. Stuff that might come into the road. It'll show a little later in the video. You see the little grass there, and then you gotta watch your rocks. That's a big rock. Sometimes they're smaller rocks and you don't see them before you catch hold of them, but here I'm backing up to try to get some of this taller stuff back here. So this stuff doesn't come back into the road bed. Now some of the branches coming out from the trees I can cut off a little bit. And up and look, chop. Sometimes they don't want to go, and I have to either hold the branch into the bar or go back across it again. Just gotta watch those rocks. it's also limited to a 5-foot bar for this size tractor, which is about 24 horsepower. So if I had a bigger tractor, I could get up to a 7-foot bar, but that's a much bigger tractor and 2 more feet. I have a small tractor, so I'm limited to the 5-foot. And when then I raise it up to get those limbs, it only goes up 5 feet. So here I'm going back. I'll catch a few limbs along this area. You can see them falling here and there. But it takes extra time to go back and forth and back again. Here's the same area, but I'm going in further and cutting down more. So if I were to do this to the entire road, cutting it twice, that's 14 miles. And then it's 12 hours to do the 7 miles back and forth mostly. Look at that branch. It went under it. So, what did I say? Yeah, 14 miles would be 2 days of mowing. 2 long days. Cutting down some trees there. Sometimes doing this, you gotta pick it up because there's a tree in the way. You gotta put it back down. So you gotta watch all that stuff while you're going along. Make sure you're on the road. Make sure you're not hitting rocks. And thankful that I have a hydraulic raising and lowering. So here's another place where it's cutting down a lot of small saplings. And this makes the road a little bit wider, or at least it seems a little bit wider. So if people would drive a little bit off the side, they'd be making the road a little wider by killing off the vegetation right there on the edge. And we could make the road a little wider. At least the trees won't be coming into the road bed. So this cuts about inch and a half inch saplings. So if it's questionable, I'll go around the sapling and maybe cut it off with the clippers, the loppers or not. But if I do hit one and it's too big and I don't realize it, it actually stopped the tractor because it'll jam up the sickle bar, which jams up the PTO, which then jams the tractor. Then I gotta shut it down, turn off the PTO, and then restart everything back up again. Besides getting that piece of wood out of the sickle bar so it's not jammed anymore. Now if I do find that one that's sort of questionable, I'll actually go really slow and see if the sickle bar will actually cut it off or not. If it doesn't seem like it's cutting it, I have to back up, pull it up, go around it again. I think there's one in here. That I give that a try on. And it's getting pretty thick in this area. It's a lot of pulling up this bar and putting it back down. And then you can actually view me on this one. It's a bit shaky, but you can see it. But I gotta watch the bar and then where I'm going, and then calculate if I go this way with the front wheels, will the bar hit this or will it miss it, or do I need to pull it up? I also have to watch possible for rocks in the roadway, because it'll pop up the bar or lower the bar depending on how I hit a rock or a low spot, because it all goes through in the sense of if I hit a rock or a bump, the front of the tractor goes up, which means the bar goes down. If I hit a little dip in the road, the front tire goes down and the bar goes up. So trying to adjust everything so that the bar stays at the exact perfect level and not hitting any rocks. So the other part is you have to watch to make sure that I don't cut anything too big or miss anything, or should I say hit something that I can't see. There's I usually carry loppers and possibly a chainsaw once in a while, so if I find something that's too big for the sickle bar to cut, I'll turn it off and lop it off or chainsaw it off. Here's sort of a demo of how the bar is held up. So there's a nut basically there. You take off, you take this bar out of this position, and then you can travel with it once it's all locked in. So you take this bar and it's still going to be connected down at the bottom, and then it goes into the sickle bar in this hole, and it holds the sickle bar up in a straight position. You put that screw back, or that nut back on, screw it on, and then there's a pin that goes through that so it doesn't vibrate loose, and that holds the bar up for transport or for storage. That way it doesn't flop around. When it's not on there, it flops around a bit when it's up. Now that first year that I was using this, I was hitting a lot of saplings that were too big for it to take down, and it jams up the sickle bar and then jams up the PTO and so forth. Well, I did it a few too many times, and actually twisted my PTO shaft right off. Broke it. So it took a while to get that fixed and to redo it. And then I ended up busting a couple of U-joints. So I switched U-joints and had to go back to the original U-joints, and those are much tougher, so I haven't busted any of those lately. Hopefully I don't. But there's some expense in the fact that you could bust the PTO shaft, you could bust U-joint. I've broken one tooth on the sickle bar so far. Had to get replacements on that. So there's blades and guards on this sickle bar, and they both move back and forth opposite each other. Now here's one. Nope, I'm going over it. Up and over, that one is too big. And then down on the other side, sort of. Missed that one. This one looks close to being too big. So I go slow, see if it's going to cut. Not really, so I back it up and go around that one. And keep going. That one looks a little big too, but it chops it right off. It's just going slow. And sometimes there just gets to be a lot of little saplings on there. Once in a while they get dragged along. Sometimes they just get a pile of them alongside and they finally fall off. But I also got to see where it's going, so sometimes, once in a while, I have to actually pull everything off so I can see what's going on down there. And if you've been following me, you'll notice that this is the trail behind the shed, and there's the shed. So here's the end of one of the properties. So look at these guys just chopped down. They cleared an area out here, I assume for a house, but this is along the road, so I'm clearing beside the road. I'm not going to do the whole field. I got the drone up. It's nice and clear out here because they cleared this field. But the sickle bar just makes it so easy just to chop this stuff down and not get off the roadbed. Now here's the land version of this on the ground versus the drone, and just cut them right down. So this guy cleared it off, or had it cleared. I'm only cutting by the road. If I were to cut inside where those things are, it'd be very bumpy and it would just be rocking around all over the place. Here I am coming back. Now here I'm trying to do three things at the same time. Sickle bar, where I'm going, and the drone. Not doing very good because I keep stopping. So this is done. I basically do this once a year to keep all of the saplings and brambles down alongside the road. Makes the road look a little wider. If we all let this go, it would basically, the trees would grow into the road. Everybody's cars, trucks would be scratched up by all the brambles and stuff. And eventually you'll never get through the road because the trees will take it over. Now here's the BX25 and the sickle bar mower. You like what you see, subscribe, and thanks for watching.